Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for the guys at George. They've been amazing creating this event, creating this space for us to get to know each other, to share the knowledge. And today, I'm super excited to take you through this journey. I called my presentation Surviving a Redesign, but I want to state that by no means I think we've survived yet, at least. We have definitely come a long way, hitting a huge milestone, going from concept all the way now to releasing Revolut 10 last week. But we're still in it. There's still a lot to come, a lot of challenges, a lot of learnings that we probably still don't know what we don't know. So today, let's start with the basics. Some of you might know Revolut, some of you might not ever heard of Revolut. So Revolut is what we like to call a financial super app. What does this mean? This means that we have every single financial product you can need, want, dream about under one roof, or at least that is our goal. So anywhere from accounts, multi-currency accounts, joint accounts, credit, loans, crypto, investing, like everything under one roof. We've grown to have 35 million plus customers and growing. And we are spread around 40 different countries and growing as well. So I want to start by showing you basically our starting point. So this was Revolut 9. A lot of you might still have Revolut 9 in your apps as we are phasing out the rollout of Revolut 10. By the end of November, everyone should be in Revolut 10. So Revolut 9 served a very specific purpose that for us as a business, we wanted to grow, expand, and create all these different products even beyond financial services, like expanding into different services. And it was a design built to scale. So if you look, if you're familiar with it and you see our hub that had like all these mini apps, it's very similar to what you would see in Asia, like WeChat or any of these big super apps. And it served its purpose, but as our user needs change and as our business needs change, and I'll be talking about it in a little bit further, this had to change as well. So as I said, surviving a redesign. So today I'm going to take you through my survival kit. And my survival kit is not a playbook on how to do a redesign. It's not a step-by-step on how to do a redesign. But it's really all these key things that I've learned along the way of this journey and that I would definitely put in my backpack if I was ever to endeavor in a similar project to this one. So let's start with our first one. So our first one, I call it Friends, Warriors, and Wizards. And when I say this, I'm referring 100% to my design team. My design team was key on making this a success. This is a project that started with design, and the design structure, design function had to be extremely strong for us to go through these ups and downs and just this roller coaster of the past 8 months that we've been through. Friends in the sense that we are very close together. We've worked really hard to just unite the team. Warriors in the sense that we roll up our sleeves and take on any challenge. And wizards because they truly bring just so much magic to the table with their creativity, with their ideas, with everything they have. But this was not always like this. About 2 years ago, when I joined Revolut, the story was a little bit different. So we had all these designers, super talented designers, scattered across Revolut, working directly with product owners in different teams, working very siloed to each other. Some departments were better than others, kind of some designers had relationships, but overall the sense of it was they were sort of lone wolves in this land of Revolut. So when I came in, that was the first thing I noticed. I remember having a meeting in my first week with a bunch of designers, and they were like, this is the first time we're in a meeting together. And I'm like, what are you guys talking about? Like, haven't you been here for years? And they're like, yeah, but like this is the first time there's not like product owners or engineers in the call, like it's only designers. And that was when I really was like, okay, like these guys need to get to know each other. So I went to London, spent about 3 months there, being the really annoying boss, telling everyone, like, let's go for drinks, let's go do a barbecue, let's go. Sorry, guys, they're actually here. Sorry, guys, if I was super annoying. But I really just wanted them to get to know each other as people and, like, get comfortable. And hopefully, like, I'm happy to report that it definitely paid off. We became super close with each other, and that translated into better collaboration, better communication, and support. And I think that was key for Revolut 10. Nothing makes me happier to have like a one-on-one with one of my designers, and they tell me like, hey, I was having lunch with so-and-so, and they're working on this. I need to consider it for my project. So definitely those walls that were there before have broken, and the lines of communication have improved massively. Next up is what I call having a clear mission. So this is probably the #1 question I get when I talk about the Revolut redesign. And it's like, why do a redesign? Like, why don't you guys just improve upon what you had? And as I mentioned before, this was kind of the perfect catalyst of two things coming into place that were a change of user needs and a change of business goals. So users were starting to use Revolut less as a travel card, which was kind of like the initial idea of Revolut. It was this amazing travel card with super low fees, so you can travel the world and basically pay like a local. But they started using us more and more as their daily banking experience. And all these other services and things we wanted to try, like we tried them. Some went great, some failed. But people were really they wanted the money. This is about money. I want to know how much money I have. I want to interact between all the products easily, between my accounts, between my savings. They needed that focus on daily banking. And for us as a business, funny enough, that shifted as well. We are amazing at tech. We can build a lot of things, but just because you can build a lot of things, you probably shouldn't build everything you can do. But we experimented with a lot of things, and then we realized, you know what, let's bring it back to simplicity. Let's focus on financial products and make this just the simplest, easiest way to do your daily banking. So when those two aligned, we realized, looking at the app, the architecture is not built for this. So we have tons of different products that are scattered all across the app with not really an easy way to just visualize everything from one glance. So we started with the architecture, literally going back to the basics, stickers and like post-it notes and like trying to put things in a place that made sense. Did a lot of testing with users as well on this. And finally, we came up with our final architecture, which was the foundation of Revolut 10. And then this became extremely important. Once we had the architecture, we started to also do the interface and started to think of like what would actually fit this architecture. This became the most relevant thing. So this is your map. And when I say a map, is you need a map to every corner. A redesign is not check out this cool home screen or check out this really beautiful UI. A redesign is thinking from end to end of the app and knowing how this redesign will look and work everywhere. And that was the key for us to even sell the idea to stakeholders. This was not just like a cool design project that we've done. This was really like deep understanding of the app, of all our features, of all our screens, of all the countries we're on, and being able to show how our design and how our architecture could actually be flexible enough to translate to our products, to all our different apps, our business app, our -18 app, our retail app, and be flexible enough to adapt to every country situation or needs. So being able to show that as designers, that we knew exactly how this would work in every single screen, was the key for stakeholders to say, let's do this. And if it sounds like a lot of work for you pitching something like, oh, really think of the end-to-end of the app? Yes, it is a lot of work. And if you're not doing it, you probably should not be doing a redesign. So yeah, it takes a lot, but it pays off. It pays off for sure. Next up is what I call the time machine. So the time machine, it's all about looking into the past. As designers, it's super exciting to go and see what the innovators are doing, what our competitors are doing, and focusing a lot on the future and what's ahead. And a lot of times we forget to understand the history of our own product. How did it look before? How did it start? How did it become huge? And that's critical. For us, if I show you this, so this is one of the first versions of Revolut. And if you see this and you see Revolut 10, you'll see that there's a lot of similarities, and that is by design. We wanted to go back to the simplicity because this app won us the market, and what people loved, and to this day, they ask us to go back to this. Obviously, we didn't do the redesign because of this, but because of the users telling us that. But I mean, it was crazy. Like, people love this version of the app. This is what won us the market in 2015. People love the simplicity. They were dealing with crazy complexity from the traditional banking apps, and they wanted something simple. They wanted their money. They wanted clear actions on how to move their money around. And of course, for us, the challenge was how do we achieve that level of simplicity when we have 10x now, the products, the features, etc. But that was a challenge. But look into the past, remember, understand what works and what didn't work in the past, and bring it into the future. Next up, we have what I call a little bit of magic, always necessary. So what I mean by this is give designers a chance to design. Like, let them be designers. Yeah, we have design systems. Yeah, we have patterns to follow and consistency to think about. But at the same time, like, go crazy for a little bit. Like, it's so much fun. And for us, like, this was the case. I remember last Christmas, we were sitting at the office, but not Christmas, the day before Christmas. But one of our designers, Juan over here, actually, he's in the audience. He was like, guys, I did something really crazy. And that's always like super exciting to hear. And he's like, he showed us the first ever version of Revolut 10. And it was very extreme. It was very, like, it almost looks like a lock screen for iOS, but that was kind of his goal. Is like, I wanted to go to the extreme of simplicity. And that was a starting point. Like, already, like, playing with the prototype, we're all like, okay, obviously this is not it yet, but like, it feels like something. Like, it feels so easy to use. Like, it definitely had, he captured the spirit of all the architecture work we were doing in an interface that was sort of magnetic. And from there, that was our starting point to keep going. So embrace the crazy, embrace the magic, and just let it flow. Eventually, you get to amazing things. And one of my last ones is our user compass. So for Revolut, user interaction, I would say, is quite new. We just started involving more users into our process. So for us, this was a huge accomplishment. I think probably users saw the first version of Revolut before even stakeholders did. We really wanted to bring people in, and obviously they're not making the decisions for us, but they're definitely like steering us in the right direction. We got to do a lot of new things with this project. Even like we got this test lab. We were able to see how people were interacting with our. If you've never done it, it's super fun. You get to feel like you're spying on people through the glass. It's super fun. And it was amazing. It was just like bringing people in and like seeing the progression, iterating and seeing how that affected the user interaction. Every step of the way was just a lot of fun, obviously super, super informative. And for us, yeah, it was just a joy to bring users in more and more into the process. We want to keep doing it. We want to keep better at it. But for us at Revolut, it was a huge milestone, as it was one of the first times we worked so close with users. And for my last item, I say bring pen and paper, because as I said before, by no means I would say that we've survived a redesign. We hit an amazing milestone, but the best is yet to come. Now we get to learn. Now we get to have like many new challenges that are going to come with this redesign. We're facing it out. So far, there's a little bit of everything, and we embrace the good, we embrace the bad, and we're happy to continue on this journey. So I want to just end up by thanking my team. As I said, they were amazing throughout this. They were warriors the whole way. To think that the first ever draft of Revolut happened, like Revolut 10 happened literally like before Christmas, like December. And now it's a product that people, like 35 million people will have by the end of the month. It just blows my mind. Like, it's so fast, and it wouldn't have been possible if the design team wouldn't roll up their sleeves and just get to it. So I want to leave you all today with this phrase that I love, that is extraordinary people. Extraordinary products are built by extraordinary people. And honestly, Revolut has shown me that this is true. When people have all the passion and are really devoted and passionate about what they're doing, they can accomplish the impossible. So finally, I want to leave you with a little video that our creative team at Revolut has put together. I think it really captures just everything we've been through in the last 8 months, the spirit of the new brand, the spirit of the new design. So I hope you enjoy. Oh. Did it play? Oh, I think the audio is not there, but it has really cool audio. Thank you, guys.
So, Maria, wait a second. So now is the time for
Yes.
Q&A. So if you have any questions here on site, simply raise your hand. And for our remote attendees, please use this opportunity to engage as much as possible. Type your questions, and we will check them right away. So we have one question there. If we can get a microphone.
Hi.
Hello.
Thank you for this great talk. My question is, you mentioned the user needs that changed, but what about the business needs that changed that required the redesign?
Yeah, the business needs basically was that we wanted to leave all the, let's say, services that were not really related to finance. We still have some, and we have the ones that work, but we wanted to stop focusing on trying to do everything, and we wanted to shift back into this daily banking experience. So we introduced our savings products. We're aiming to introduce more credit, mortgages. So we wanted to, the business wanted to do this shift towards that daily banking experience and just making discoverability of products a lot simpler and focused on money.
Great, thank you. So I'm also checking our remote attendees, and we have one that it says, if you could name one of the most challenging aspects of a redesign, what would that be?
I would say handling opinions in our case. There's Revolut is such a design-centric company. Everything starts with design. If the design is right, we build it and we scale it. But because of this, a lot of the criteria to work at Revolut, even as an engineer, is to have this passion and this dedication for UX. So when you have a lot of people that care so much about design, obviously it's great and it produces really quality work, but you also have a lot of people with a lot of opinions. So you need to be explaining, having a lot of transparency to communicate why you're making the decisions you're making. And in some cases also listen a lot, listen to the ideas and try to balance the too many ideas in the room and you end up with nothing, try to filter out. But yeah, I think that's the case for us, just making sure we are presenting everything very clearly, so when there's ideas and opinions, we have the evidence to back them up.
That is beautiful. We have one more question here. We will get you a microphone.
Hello, thank you so much for this cool talk.
Thank you.
How did you decide on the KPIs from the business and from the UX part, where you can measure that the redesign was beneficial or not?
We have tons. I would say the KPIs are more spread across the different departments, but obviously centralize them with the design. It's very important in the sense that we are rearranging the navigation of the app, and that can impact a lot of things like conversion, discoverability of products. Right now, those are I would say discoverability and conversion are the ones we're looking at the most. Something we did to manage this in the beginning was do a little bit of experiments in our earliest version. So try to start tweaking some things that impacted the design and see how drastically they were moving the needle up and down. So far, we haven't seen any changes. We have seen a bit of improvement. Again, it's just starting to roll out, so it's going to be definitely a challenge for us. But I think those were our two the most important ones. Ease of use is another one that we keep measuring throughout the product, throughout the process. Our researchers kind of were focusing on that, measuring the ease of use. And we also launched a beta community before. So there's people that have had Revolut Revolut 10 for the past 2 months. And with that beta community, we've been, again, measuring ease of use, measuring NPS, and trying to understand the success. And we tweaked, even from the start of that beta testing all the way to now, we've done quite a bit of changes to play with there.
Great. We have another question here at the front.
Thanks for your presentation. You shared this picture of this room where you run usability tests. Can you explore a little bit more the method of usability testing? What role did it play in the past since you joined, and what you're planning in the future for this method?
Yeah, so To be very honest, we did not have much research before. We were looking at data. We were iterating on the go. I think something that served us really well for a long time is that we have such a strong tech muscle that we were able to just launch things based on logic and based on our assumptions, and then kind of iterate on the go because, yeah, again, we were able to look at the data, track everything, and make quick adjustments. But as we scale, as we grow, obviously this starts becoming really costly. Like those little tech changes, like, I mean, Figma is free, code is not, right? So like you don't want to, you want to start being a little bit more careful with what you put out there. So in that case, that was one of our latest, actually, reviews. So that was a usability lab. We invited a bunch of users to basically turn on Rev 10 for the first time. So they would be in the previous version and they would be right there and just turn it on. It was purely, that one in that case was purely an observational one. We asked them to go through a couple of flows, but it was a very much just like usability testing of first impressions. But throughout the project, we did all sorts of things. We did quantitative and qualitative research. Quantitative, we do with a platform called user testing. So we send it to a bunch of users across the different countries that we operate on and just gather data on how to do the key flows, right? So like every team basically structures their tests with the help of our research team to see what they want to measure. And we send them out and we gather all the data and make changes accordingly, basically.
We still have time for 2 more questions. We have one there at the back, please.
Hi, thanks for the talk, really inspirational, and great to hear about the progress that's being made in Revolut. From your experiences, what would you say is the key difference that Revolut is such a user-centric organization? So, from other banks that you've worked at which have not been so, what would you say really fosters that within Revolut?
I think honestly it comes from the top. Our CEO has a passion for design, and he's really good at it. And he started the company with a philosophy of like good design will buy users, will get users hooked, and it was the truth. And that's sort of like what has prevailed, I guess, like since the beginning. Like Revolut was born with design. Revolut was born out of like trying to create something beautiful and functional and simple. And it carries out till now. Of course, we are a very big team now. But at the spirit of it, like it starts with design. Like designers have such a privilege to be like in a stage where like they are listened to and they're the ones pushing ideas forward. So for us, it's amazing. It's really fun.
Thank you. So let's see if there is any more questions. Where?
Over there. Yeah, there.
Oh, there.
Yeah.
Thank you, Patsy.
Hi, thank you. Very interesting. I would like to know how the design team is organized in Revolut. I'm very curious on that. Thank you.
Yeah, good question. So, as I said before, like it was a bit of a Wild West, and big part was giving a structure. And it's made so much change, but honestly, I'm like, every time like a designer comes and tells me like, oh, it's so much different, it's so much better, I'm like, it's so basic. Like literally what we did was give leads the time to lead. Like this was something like we were very understaffed, so leads were working at an IC capacity, basically putting all their focus doing work versus nurturing their teams. So Revolut is broken into different departments, so we have credit, crypto, like basically by product. And now every one of those departments has a lead designer. They do get their hands dirty. They love to also do IC work, but now they have time to foster the team, mentor the team, have feedback loops with the team, and just in general mentor and grow the team. And then those leads report to me, and then that's pretty much it. It's quite flat. Like it's not really like a huge structure. As I said, it's very basic.
And we have one more question from our remote attendees. What is the ratio of designers to developers in Revolut? More or less.
I actually don't know. Any of you guys know? We have a lot. No, I think there's way more developers. But we have around I mean, between design, like product design and creative designers, there's like 100 and something designers in the company, probably like 90 being product designers. But no, developers, I know just in Dubai where I'm based, there's 100, so they're already beating us. So yeah, it's probably triple or quadruple the amount of designers.
Awesome. So we are coming to the end of this incredible first speaker. Maria, thank you so, so much. I think before we go, just connecting to what Mauri said, the future is building relationships. Probably we need to start by building meaningful relationships in our teams in order to really care about the customers. So I think this is really beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So please, we will meet back. Thank you.